Hello and welcome everybody to today's video. I hope that you all are having a great day today. Just going to be talking about the Blood Moon event, about a retrospective. I know it's a bit of a different video than what I normally do, but I kind of wanted to talk about it and share my thoughts about it. This is going to be pretty unscripted, so I'm not going to be reading from a script. I'm just going to be kind of stating my thoughts. I want to put my thoughts in a video and talk about it. But for those who just kind of want a little bit of a summary of how I feel about the event, love the event. It's probably my top 3 events. There are some issues with it, but overall, I think it was a really, really fun event, and I really hope it comes back next year. But on to the actual portion of the video. So I'm going to be talking about some good and bad from the event, but I wanted to start with the good of the event and start off with some of my favorite things about the event. The first part of the event that I loved, and probably my favorite part, is the aesthetics. The cosmetics were really good. The Michaela and Ace cosmetics especially were really good. And the free cosmetics, which I believe were Oni and Elodie, were also really good. I think those are some of the best cosmetics that are event tied into the game. Nowhere near like the Blighted cosmetics, but still super cool and thematic. And the art was really cool. Like the blood zones were really cool. The generator and hook designs were amazing. Overall, major props to the art team of DBD. Like everything looked really good, and the art team usually doesn't disappoint. So great job on the DBD art team. However, because this is an event, I would also like to talk about gameplay, which I think honestly was really solid. About the gameplay for those who missed it or didn't know, when you were in a blood zone as killer, you could lunge 100% further, I believe, with an extremely long cooldown to compensate for that. And you could, as survivor, your grunts of pain when you were injured were 50% quieter, doubled if you were crouch. Your blood also disappeared faster as well, which is really cool. I think the gameplay was really cool, and unlike some events where the gameplay just feels stale after a couple of games, it didn't really feel stale to me. Like I said in the intro, that I think this is my top 3 event, and I believe it because of the gameplay. I think this is like the only 2 events that this doesn't even come close to is the anniversary event or masquerade event. I think their gameplay is the best out of the series, like best event on gameplay. The window blocking as survivor, the endurance as killer, I think was super good and well done in the masquerade event. And the second favorite event was the Halloween event, especially this recent Void iteration, which was awesome and brought this cool mini area and changed the game. And both of them were consistent throughout the event. I loved I loved the modifiers throughout the event. It's why I like the Blood Moon event, because the blood zones and the extra lunge was super fun. I will say that this event was pretty killer-sided, in my opinion, but Survivor's got a few goodies, too. Segueing into that, I think the best part to come out of this event, especially for Survivor side, is the new item we got, which is the Blood Sense map. It's basically a rainbow map if you slapped empathy on it. I love that. I love that we're getting a new event item. First of all, this is the first map event item we've gotten, to my knowledge, at least. I have only been playing the game for a few years now, so I don't know if there was any items before this. But new map, which is awesome, and it's a unique map. It's a rainbow map, sure, but it has that extra benefit of you seeing injured survivors, which I think is really, really cool, and I hope that the devs do this more. The other event items that we've gotten over the years are like the toolboxes, flashlights, and med kits, and they're just basic items with a little bit of a flair added to them, which is cool, but I think the Blood Sense map does a really good job, and I hope that future events will add different items, maybe a key in the future. Maybe some more add-ons for Killer and Survivor. I think that'd be really cool. But honestly, I think both sides got really good amounts of stuff. I believe in-game, though, Killer's got a little bit more love, especially with that extra lunge, which was super fun to play with. I messed around with Wraith mostly, and it was super fun. But I know a lot of people mess with Myers, and it created some really cool moments in-game about it, which is super, super fun. And I love it when games do this. So I think the gameplay was really solid. Not as good as the anniversary or Halloween events, but way better than the Bone Chill event. I know that's going to be a pretty unpopular opinion. I think the Bone Chill event's kind of boring. Like the snowman and snowballs lose their novelty after a few days, like after a few games. Um, but the novelty of this event wasn't really lost with me throughout the entirety of it, which I think was really cool. Um, Now, since we were talking about the new map, I did want to touch on the new offering that was introduced, the Bloodshot Eye. I can't really talk much about it because I wasn't able to use it. It got disabled day one of the event because it kept messing with blood point offerings, which wasn't the greatest. A clear sign that the dev team doesn't really test their stuff thoroughly. They may test it, but I don't think they test it thoroughly enough. And this is a really good example because I don't know how an add-on can mess with that, you know? It was disabled literally day one, which is crazy. It is actually so crazy. Good on the devs for disabling it immediately, but if it was tested properly, it wouldn't have needed to be disabled. We did get compensation, though, as with the million blood points, which is really cool. I'm glad the devs compensated us for it, but it really sucks that a part of the event was basically locked because of it not working. Which, for those who didn't know, the bloodshot eye, all it did was make it so that the little blood basins were blocked for longer, and you saw the ores of the little blood splats at the beginning of the game for an extra few seconds. Which, I mean, we're not missing out on much, but it still kind of sucks that we missed out on a little bit. But speaking of the blood points that we got, it was such a good event for blood point farming. I really hope that this is brought back. Especially when it came to like the 300 and 400% modifier. I know originally that they upped the modifiers, like they upped them from it, and I really am so glad that they made that decision, making it from instead of from 50% to 200, it's now like 100 to 400%, which was super good. By the end of the event, when I was playing either side, I was getting upwards to like 200,000 blood points per game before any like blood point offerings, which is absolutely insane. And I'm so glad that that decision was made. Super good blood point farming event, and I think that's the main thing of the event. That was its main purpose. I saw a lot of videos when the event came out that it was kind of a nothing burger, and I disagree. The reason why I kind of disagree was I think a lot of people's expectations were really high. Like, I think this event did what it was supposed to. It's not meant to celebrate anything. It's purely meant to for us to get blood points. And it coming out shortly after the recent chapter that had Sable and the Unknown, I'm glad that they did it because a lot of it this made it so that a lot of people could like prestige them fast, and if they wanted to main those characters, prestige them more. I know that a lot of people got super high prestiges on Sable because of the event. I used it personally to get every character to prestige 3 because I've been trying to do that, and I did it because of the event, and it made things super fast. One thing I will say about the blood points, I feel like some of the blood points that we got from this event should be brought into base game. During the event, you could earn an upwards of like 100,000 to 200,000 blood points, which for prestiging was really efficient. Like, prestiging a character takes about 1,000,000 blood points, and for it to take around 5 to 10 games to fully prestige a character was super fun. Maybe not as drastic as we should have it, but I think we should at least get like the 50% or 100% bonus that we were getting at the beginning, kind of integrated into the base of DVD. Because you get, if you're lucky, you'll get like 40,000 blood points, but if you're really unlucky, you'll get like 10,000. It completely depends on what side you play or how your games go, but on average, you'll get like 20,000. 20 to 30,000 blood points, which is how like my average is. And that means it takes dozens of games to just prestige a character once, which doesn't feel great. So I hope that they integrate a bit of this into the base game, or at least figure some alternative, right? But I think it was really good. Like, the blood point farming we were able to do was just so awesome. And I'm super glad that the devs did this and kind of experimented with the new event. Um, But overall, I think the event was really fun. And I do have my gripes with it. Honestly, I do have my gripes with it. But before I end this video, I kind of wanted to talk about possible improvements or possible things that they could do to tap into the potential of this event. So, first off, I want to talk about Survivor Side. Survivor Side didn't get a lot during the event. We got the new item, but in game, we didn't really get much. The blood zones don't really benefit survivors as much as they do killer. So, I think we should add they should add something to do with scratch marks, either making it so that scratch marks look permanent while in the blood zone until like a chase is ended, or scratch marks disappear a little bit faster, probably not as fast as blood, but maybe like 20-25% faster, I think would be really cool. Or add something else to give survivors a little bit of a leg up, because it's meant that blood zones are meant to support a stealth play style, which do their job really well, but sometimes you have to make it work. But for killer side, I think it's fine. I love the extra lunge distance, especially. I think that's super good. And adding the downside of it being you have to have a longer cooldown, whether you hit or miss, is awesome. I especially on certain killers like Wraith, and Myers and Spirit, killers that have that really big lunge, I think was really awesome. That's my first possible improvement, is make the blood zones a little better for survivors, because there's not really a reason to set them up as survivors unless you're doing some meme build with them, which can work, but I feel like there could be a little bit of extra love and testing with it. Second off, I think the offering should be tested. I really hope that if this is a recurring event, the offering gets put back on. I really hope it does. It would make the event so much better. Even though the offering doesn't do much, I think it'd still be cool to have that offering there. And last thing I want to talk about improving the event is maybe making this not a yearly event, but a twice a year event. Make it semi-annually. I think that'd be an awesome way to do it. They don't have to, of course, but I think it'd be kind of cool, because there's a lot of time that you could put it in. Like, we didn't get a Chinese New Year event this year. We got the Blood Moon, which I believe the Blood Moon's probably going to replace the Chinese New Year event, if I had to guess, which fills that slot of spring, because we don't really have a spring event other than the Chinese New Year event, and this fills that kind of niche of the like late winter, early spring. It'd be cool if we had this during like early fall too, like between summer and fall. Like, I think it'd be really cool to have this event twice a year. I think that'd be really cool to get, like, especially if it was released after a chapter releases, to have people farm for blood points for those new characters. I think that would be amazing. But overall, I really love the event, and there's a lot of untapped potential that the event offers, especially with new items. Please, behavior. The Blood Sense map is such a good item. Do it with the rest of the items from future events, please. I would love new modifiers on the rest of the items, and event keys too. Like, I'd love that so much. But what are your guys' thoughts on the event? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. I love to discuss this sort of thing about, like, this, have this sort of discussion with people, and, talk about it. But I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video.